We go. Hello, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Super happy to have Phil. We've had Phil on a time before about what he's doing here with uh, Gold, Golden, and so we're super happy to have him back. Thanks for joining us today. Uh, we encourage you to ask questions through the chat and the Q&A. We know you're there. We can't hear or see you, but we know that you're there. So thanks for joining again. We have a lot of people coming on today, so if you have any questions, put them in the chat. We'll get to as many as possible. Also, after seeing what you will see today, if there's anybody that you know that might be interested in reviewing it on the Family Office Insights YouTube channel, or of course, we'll put you in direct contact with Phil, please feel free to do so. So with that, Phil, thanks for doing this. Welcome.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking the time.
You bet. Let's start from the beginning. How did this all come about? We know you have a long history of Wall Street and being in investments and this sort of thing, but let's share a little bit with the group of how this all came about or why you're
Yeah,
focusing on it.
yeah, sure. Well, I have a long history of investing in commodities, and most recently, probably 3, 4, 5 years ago, I started focusing on tokenization because I do think that's kind of next generation finance, and it kind of gravitated towards or from tokenization to tokenization of commodities. And of course, one of the main commodities that people continue to talk about and that I'm a huge believer in for a whole myriad of reasons is gold. And we went as far as instead of tokenizing third party assets, really taking control of our own gold mines and tokenizing those gold the gold deposits. So what we're really doing here is presenting what I think is a pretty unique opportunity to acquire physical gold. And I've set up the tokenization platform where the purchaser of the gold has really two options. They either take physical delivery or they have us vault it for them via Brinks. And we've set it up that way as a kind of a traditional offtake agreement, which is, if you're in the commodity space, know that it's pretty widely done, where entities or individuals participate in acquiring the commodity via an offtake. And what I've done, I should say, what we've done is really kind of take it to another level, where it gives the individual an opportunity to actually acquire physical gold. And I've created this platform, and really, I don't want to say it's a promotional offering because it isn't, but we're giving purchasers what I think is an opportunity to buy at a pretty substantial discount. And that discount is I should say the price is $1,405 per ounce. I know it sounds a little bit crazy considering where gold is today, but I'm doing it for a whole number of reasons. One, to promote the platform, and two, the discounted price really reflects the purchaser's role in providing developmental capital. So the way I've put this all together is instead of going out and utilizing traditional financing via the debt markets or the equity markets, what I've done is I've taken a certain number of these reserves that we've had and pre-sold them, and I'm pre-selling them now in the open market. So whoever is interested in participating and who is interested in actually getting possession of physical gold would make a down payment, and that down payment has financed the equipment purchasing and will be financing the mine production over the next 3, 4, 5 months. Again, this discount is pretty substantial, and it enables us to really accelerate the production and the mining of the gold. And I think what's very unique about this is you kind of think about mining, and mining can be relatively complicated. But in this particular case, what we're focused on is placer mining. And placer mining is, of course, a lot different than the hard rock mining or underground mining. This placer mining is considered uh, where the gold is essentially already separated from the rock. And considering the demographic that we're in, which has a tremendous history in mining, and probably wouldn't exist other than for its gold and silver assets, we're really taking advantage of the opportunity in the country today. The mines are located in South America, in Bolivia, and we've really zeroed in on Bolivia because, one, the asset rich region where we are located, and two, because of the opportunity set, the cost of extraction, and so on. And we've been working on this for the better part of 2 to 3 years, where we've partnered with a local group, and we believe that it's obviously very critical to have people on the ground that know the landscape. But we kind of stepped in, and after looking for gold assets and kind of scouring, um, between the U.S. and other parts of South America, really zeroed in on Bolivia because of, one, its change in opening the marketplace, and two, because of the history of and the rich mineral region, where we are really focused at the moment.
Hey,
So,
Phil, what
yeah,
it might be helpful. People are familiar with, I guess they're called tailings. How is it,
yes.
how is this separated? How did that all come about?
Well, tailings are essentially when somebody does the mining, there's kind of residual, um, I guess, residual minerals that are kind of left on the side, and those tailings are then processed. This process is not utilizing tailings at all. This is actual mining. This is, we've acquired excavators, we've acquired wash plants, dump trucks, etc. Where in this case, you really stick a shovel in the ground, or I should say, an excavator in the ground, and put the content through a wash plant, and it separates the gold. It's no more complicated than that, if you can believe that. It's a very, very simple process. And having been invested in and active in various commodities over the past 25 years, um, the gold process, or the gold mining of placer and alluvial mining, is substantially different and much easier than iron ore or copper or nickel. So it's the tailings aspect is kind of irrelevant, because the mines, these are mines that have been artisanally mined, but there hasn't been any real industrialization or modernization. So we kind of stepped in and said to the local co-ops down in Bolivia, okay, you have been artisanally mining for years and with picks and shovels, and these are remote parts of Bolivia. It's essentially 10 hours from La Paz, which is one of the capitals in Bolivia. We've stepped in, and with the help of local authorities and local partners, went to the co-ops and said, listen, let's work out an arrangement where we can modernize and industrialize these mines, and have essentially consolidated and struck agreements and have contracts with 6 different mines totaling over 10,000 acres in Bolivia. And as you can see on the screen, we're starting with probably the richest mine at the moment in the Tipuani-Mapiri Basin in Bolivia. And the first mine that we will be mining is called Mapiri. It's about 1,500 acres. Again, this is about 10 hours from Bolivia, from La Paz, right outside the Mapiri municipality. So our team is down there right now. We have about 20 people on the ground in Bolivia, and they're prepping the mine and preparing it for us stepping in and actually doing the gold mining, which will start over the next, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks. So this has been a long process between one, securing the rights to these mines and to the production, assembling the team, mapping out the strategy, and then determining, okay, how best to finance this production. And again, we went down the path of taking a certain percentage of these assets and pre-selling these assets. So of the, call it 800,000 to 1,000,000 ounces of gold that we believe we have in the 6 mines, what we're doing is we're starting with selling 8,000 ounces, pre-selling 8,000 ounces. Those 8,000 ounces, of course, are, I don't want to say proven because we haven't done drilling, and you typically don't do drilling in placer and alluvial mining. We've done satellite and aerial radar, which is zeroed in on the most appropriate and most rich areas of the mine. And I can kind of walk you through how all that works. But we've based on the satellite and the aerial radar, and the aerial radar is very similar to how they do kind of seismic for oil. This is a relatively new process that they're using in minerals, but it saves you a tremendous amount of money. And quite frankly, it's incredibly accurate. And it's a very sophisticated process. So we've had these mines mapped out. We know exactly where we're going to start. We know the richest areas where we're going to start, and we know where the depths of the gold, where it starts. And these you're looking at anywhere from gold. Typically, the most rich area in a mine is down at the bedrock, but it can start anywhere from 2 meters or 3 meters down to the bedrock. So you're looking at an open pit mine of anywhere from 5 meters to 20 meters deep. So again, it's not a complicated process. It's a process that the team down in Bolivia has done before for many, many years. And I've contracted this group, and they're actually participants in the production output. So everybody is incentivized to make this work. And now what we've done is gone to and have gone out to a number of different folks of like, okay, here's an opportunity to acquire gold. And, without going into detail as to why gold is an opportunity, everybody has seen what's happened over the last 12 months to 24 months. And, from a fiscal perspective, I continue to believe that gold is a pretty attractive part of the marketplace to be in, not only as a store of value, but as a preventive measure for the inflationary environment or just the global disconnect. I shouldn't say disconnect, but the global dynamic of what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, it's pretty accepted thesis. Is
Yeah.
what's the we have I know you're going to get to this, but we had an early question from the group about, and I know that you've just started this and you have a fair amount of people who are participating in that first 8,000 tranche, but how long will it take from the time that you're put the shovel in the ground till someone can get or their gold delivered?
We are looking at 5 to 6 months. That's a very good question, because when I first started this, I was thinking, big. I want to do 50,000 ounces. And that 50,000 ounces would probably have taken, anywhere from 18 to 24 months. And then I just came to the conclusion, after talking to a lot of people, that, what, for the first stage, nobody wants to wait 24 months.
Yeah, just prove it out, right?
Yeah, just prove out and that's what I'm doing. I'm
Yeah.
proving out the model. So we um, looked at, okay, what is it going to cost or what kind of additional funding do we need for the mine? And kind of backed into, all right, it's 8,000 ounces. And 8,000 ounces at a $250 down payment up front per ounce. And then when the gold is ready to be delivered, which we believe will be 5 to 6 months, I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but I know we'll be producing gold in August. I'm heading down there in about a week. But there's always things that come up, and I think being conservative and saying, okay, you make your down payment, and in 5 to 6 months you're going to get. And this is all done through smart contracts, but it's small enough. It's a small enough offering where there's a lot of there's a lot of hand holding, and we'll be making phone calls and saying, okay, your gold is ready. Do you want it vaulted, or do you want it delivered to the local bank? And I say local bank because Brinks can't deliver to an individual household. So we've kind of created this process, one, to prove out the model, and quite frankly, that's why you're seeing the price that you're seeing.
So
And
let's
I've looked
do
at it.
let's do the numbers just because they're really important, I think. So it's a down payment of 250, it's delivered at some number. I don't remember what it is, Phil, forgive me. And that delta between what it's delivered at and the spot price is significant, right?
Yeah, it's substantial.
Yeah.
You could theoretically look at it, and you make your down payment of 250 today. When the gold is ready to be delivered, it's an additional $1,155 an ounce. Now, you could theoretically sell that before delivery. Once we announce that the gold is ready, never have to cut another check, and you're looking at a 9x type of cash on cash return over the next 5 to 6 months. And it sounds almost too good to be true. But again, we haven't gone super wide with this. I've gone to friends and family. And this is a real, I think, it was more important for me, as Arthur, you mentioned, to prove out the model. Once I prove out the model, the next round is not going to be at $1,405 an ounce. That being said, I am and plan on structuring it where people that participate in this round, once we do the next round, will get an additional discount on whatever that offering price is. But once you prove out the model, you can essentially sell at market. Now, the people that participate today will get a discount on that, because this is all about understanding, okay, proving out the model, you should get some benefit going forward.
Yeah, and it helped you prove out the model. It totally makes
Exactly.
sense.
Exactly.
What
Um,
what is people have heard the nightmares of getting gold out of Africa and all the regulatory and grafting that's gone on there. Have you been able to largely thwart that in Colombia?
yes. Yeah. Bolivia.
Bolivia, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Colombia is a completely different animal, because we did look in Colombia. Um, but the interesting thing about Bolivia, and why I was really attracted to it, is the Bolivian currency is upside down. The Bolivian currency is upside down because nobody outside the country, or I shouldn't say nobody, but there's very few people that will accept it. So it's important, and the arrangement that we have with the Bolivian government is for every kilo we sell or we export, we sell 1 kilo to them at a discount. They then take that kilo and use it for backing up their system. Because, and you may say, well, why can't they just go out and buy gold in the open market? Nobody will take their currency. So they're looking at us as like, this is a great opportunity for us to actually have gold in our treasury to back up whether it's their currency or their underlying economic issues. Now, they had a recent election back in October, and they did move right, and they're really opening up the market. We took the risk of stepping in a lot earlier than that because we knew just from my contacts in the local marketplace that they were looking for people to step in and really participate in this process. The other question you may ask is, okay, it's incredibly mineral rich. Why hasn't anybody done this before? Why haven't any of the big companies done this before? Very easy answer is most of the mines, if they're not owned by the government and just sitting vacant, are owned and controlled by the co-ops. And they have limitations as to what they can do with those mines. Now, the leases that we structured are maximum 10 years. Any one of the big mining companies will not do that deal because they're looking at 25, 30-year
Right.
life of mine.
Yeah.
We don't need that. So we've really, I think, jumped on an opportunity. Now, I do think that will change in the next 12 to 24 months, but I think we're sitting in a pretty darn good position because of us stepping in early. But that's the long and short answer of why, of how we are getting gold out. And again, we've already we're on the Brinks Global Logistics platform. They have an office right there in Bolivia or in La Paz because of the history of mining. So how the process works is you do the mining on site. Brinks will pick up the gold, and it comes out in nuggets. And I'll show you some pictures as you go through this. It comes out in nuggets or flakes, and in certain circumstances, fine gold. They will pick up that gold. They'll bring it to the local smelter called Royal Bull in La Paz. Royal Bull smelts it into what's called a doré bar, which is about a 90 to 95% purity, which is still pretty high. And that's as a result of the gold or the process, the alluvial process or placer process in Bolivia. They'll melt it into a doré bar. The Brinks picks up that doré bar, brings it to the local export office. They assay it, and you export it, and it will go to Brinks Miami. At which point we will then ship it to Metalor, which is the pure refining in the last stage of the process, which eliminates all the impurities.
So is that considered a foundry?
No, it's a really refining process where they melt it down again, eliminate any of the impurities, bring it back to, or create an LBMA 5.9 standard and stamp it so it's internationally tradable. So it's a whole logistics process. But again, our extraction costs are super attractive. One, because we're not doing hard rock crushing, we're not doing underground, and our front end loader operator is getting paid $1,000 a month versus I can't imagine. Well, I know what a front end loader would get paid in a mine in the United States, it's multiples cheaper than or multiples more expensive, to the tune of probably 10x that. So our extraction costs are super attractive. We're still making money at 1405, but the most important thing is, proving out the product. And I think I've structured it in a super attractive uh, structure, which gives people the opportunity to not only take physical delivery, or have it vaulted, um,
Or just
but
trade it, right?
we'll trade it. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the basis of our tokenization is the smart contract, which we already have developed. And you will, if you bought today and you change your mind tomorrow, can sell that token. So we expect that that token will be tied to your allocation of physical gold, and if it gets delivered, if the gold gets delivered to you, we do what's called burning the token, so the token is eliminated. If it gets delivered to the vault, it's tied to whatever gold is in the vault, and you can keep that token as your smart contract and trade it. You keep it in your wallet, and we provide the wallet as well. So you don't have to have a Coinbase wallet or anything like that. I mean, that's a whole other dynamic that that is related to the settlement part, but it is more. The whole project is really more mining centric and centric, and really delivering that physical gold. And
Well,
again, this is gold that these are mines that have been artisanally mined in the past, with picks and shovels. We've stepped in and done the satellite imaging, the the aerial radar, have done sampling, have taken the samples to the lab, and you're looking at anywhere from, in certain areas, 5 to 10 plus grams per ton, and that's how rich the region is in gold. So we're sitting in a pretty sweet spot for I think successful production. Um, that and again, 8,000 ounces is not necessarily a lot of gold, but I think it's key for us proving out the project. I can kind of slowly take you through what.
before you do that, let's, if it's okay with you, Phil, a couple questions.
Sure.
Uh, what are the total resources in the ground? I know you have the agreement with a co-op, so maybe a little complicated answer, but and then do the mines have a PEA report, which sounds like somebody knows what they're talking about who asked that question, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah, yeah. So we don't have a PEA report, but we do have a, we've done a tremendous amount of analysis, and I do have reports on our and third party estimates of what's in the mine. Um, we believe we have anywhere from 800,000 to 1 million ounces of gold. So the 8,000 ounces that we will be mining is a very, very, very small percentage. Um, and, we're looking at in the Mapiri Tipawani or the Tipawani Mapiri Basin alone. It is, they found in one of the local mines 2 weeks ago, a gold nugget 70 kilos. I mean, that's substantial. And I've gone to the local villages where people do the alluvial mining or panning. And if you see the size of the nuggets that come out in the panning, which typically is almost like dust or flakes, you're getting nuggets in panning, which is indicative of the gold that's kind of washing down the mountain. So we are
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, we're incredibly confident that that 8,000 ounces is going to be a no-brainer. Um, and I mean, if we don't have 800,000 to a million ounces, we probably have 1.5 million, because we do have the six different mines, totaling about 10,000 acres, actually 9,758, um, over this six different mines. Um, and anywhere from 6 to 10 year contracts. We have one mine that's a 6 year contract. Our other mine is a 10 year contract. And we do have phenomenal experience. It was kind of serendipitous how I met my GM, who actually spent a lot of time in New York. He's fully fluent. His family's in the mining business, or was in the gold mining business. He was looking for capital, and actually, I kind of presented him with the opportunity. Let me go out and structure this, and I'll raise the capital, and you do the mining with your team. So he came on board as a partner. I mean, in addition, we have an advisor who is very well connected with the government, which is always really important. In
Yeah,
fact, his father is head of the mining region in La Paz, who
it always
also
helps, right?
who just so happens to live in New York, and his family's in the mining business, so he's been really assisting us. And, more than just a figurehead, he's been super helpful. Um, I've been involved in international investing before, specifically in Australia in mining, but in Vietnam in casino land, and I know how important it is to have a local partner. And I've got the right local partners that are one not only true partners, but are incentivized to see this thing through.
So we had a
Um,
question about permitting, and I'm guessing, and forgive me if I'm wrong, that the co-op is the one that has the permits, so to speak, so you don't have to worry much about that.
Correct. We're all permitted, all contracted, no environmental issues. But yes, that's a very key part. You don't want to step into something and then have to work through the permits. We're already permitted.
Yeah.
Um, had we had the equipment last week or 2 weeks ago, we could have started. But as we speak now, um, there is additional equipment being sent to the mine to finish the prepping. I mean, you can kind of see from this page the kind of stuff that you need. I mean, these excavators are incredibly, they're they're massive, and the kind of the thing that looks like it's called gold dog. It's a trommel. That's part of the wash plant. There's other parts of that wash plant, and it looks small, but it's very big.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, there's no power. You've got to have generators. Um, and the beauty of it is in a lot of areas, like I've looked at places in Nevada, Arizona, Montana. You either have power or no power, or you have water, or you need permits, or you've got the rivers right there. So there's no issue at all with water. And the key to gold mining is the throughput on the wash plant. And you're talking about 100 tons per hour. We plan on running two shifts, two 10-hour shifts. You're talking, I mean, in the perfect world, you're looking at 2,000 tons a day. Not going to be that. We're looking at 1,500 tons a day throughput on the wash plant, 3 to 5 grams, or I'm sorry, 5 to 7 grams a ton of gold throughput. But you need a good deal of water for that, and the beauty of it is it's right there.
Right
If
on
you
the
saw,
river. Are you
videos.
digging
Yeah,
into the riverbed or adjacent to it?
adjacent to it.
Yeah.
Adjacent to it. And you can move, you can move the river. Interestingly enough, they allow you to move the river. What they do not want is any chemical processing.
Ah,
And that's the one thing we agreed to, but we don't need that. And because you're looking at these little co-ops, little villages that control the mine of 5,000 people, 10,000 people who grow crops as well as do any artisanal mining. But we kind of stepped in and said, hey, this will be great for you. We'll hire a lot of your people. We'll bring this, we'll bring that. And oh, by the way, we're not going to be poisoning the ground with mercury.
yeah.
Um, so it's kind of a win-win situation, um, because they are very, very poor, unfortunately. Bolivia is, finally, I think, coming into its own with the new administration down there. Um, but these little villages, and they are, you fly into La Paz. La Paz is 13,500 feet above sea level. Then you got to have to drive over the mountain and get to 15,000 feet above sea level just to get to the mine. That's halfway up, more than halfway up Mount Everest.
I know is that
Uh,
that the
it's,
elevation's insane.
the
Is it
elevation is pretty tricky.
what's the you have to deliver diesel to the mine site, right? How big of a
Yes,
deal is that?
yes, we have. What you have is tanks. So we've got a 24,000 liter tank that's in Mapiri, and we have a 10,000 liter tank that's on site. And what you do, and you have to have um, these containers, and you have to have what's called a chudo, which is these heavy duty 4x4 trucks that transport the fuel in the containers to the site. The site is about an hour away from the town, so it's about an hour away from the 24,000 liter tank that's in Mapiri. And of course, you got to pay fees on that. Um, and so you've got the tank in Mapiri, and then you've got the tank on site. So it's a constant. You're doing a lot of traveling back and forth between the site and the town for supplies, but for diesel fuel as well. And diesel fuel right now is about a down there. The currency, when I was talking earlier, when I first started down there, a few years ago, it was probably 6.5 Bolivianos to the dollar. It's now 11.
Uh,
So it's kind of worked in our favor. Um, and you're looking at about 17 Bolivianos um, per liter. So the pricing down there is just it's super attractive. Do I think it's going to stay like that forever? No, but
yeah,
again, you're looking at 10 hours from La Paz, which is the capital, on a road that you're not driving 50 miles an hour and
right.
stopping at a Wendy's alongside the
Right.
road.
Yeah.
It's not happening. Um, so it's I don't want to say it's not for the faint of heart, but it's not the easiest. Um, hasn't been the simplest to arrange, but that's the opportunity.
That's the opportunity. That's right.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't want to focus on the negative stuff, but it's always important to look at what could go wrong, right? So we talked about some of it.
yeah,
And the margin between the down payment and the delivery price and the spot price of gold can make up for a fair amount of what can go wrong, right? So,
yes. Uh, mining is not without its challenges. Um, I would say one, having been down there, having stuck the shovel in the ground, having taken samples to the lab, we know there's gold.
yeah,
We know there's a lot of gold. And I've told people, what do I think the risk is? Mm, At, on a worst case scenario, there's a delay in getting the gold. It's there, we'll get it out, but there's a delay. And I think we've got a close enough relationship with the regulatory authorities as well as with the central government, which, they're looking at it and saying, okay, sell us the gold, 1 kilo of gold at a discount, and you can export your 1 kilo. They're opening up the marketplace. So I'm not concerned about that. That being said, it's still South America.
Right.
I don't want to sit here and tell you, oh, it's not without, this risk or that risk. There's always risk, but it's also not Colombia, and it's not Africa. And I've looked in Africa and dealt in Africa. It is not Africa, and I'm willing to take risk, but Africa is not somewhere where I would go. And I think too, the process is a lot easier where we are. You get into the other parts of Bolivia, and you're looking at underground mining, which is a whole different animal. But I think the risk is the delay. Um, for what it's worth, I am confident enough that I've given people personal guarantees. Now, nobody wants to go down that path, but yeah, that's there, and that's how confident I feel that I've been down there enough times. I've done enough sampling. I've got the right team on the ground. I've got the right contracts in place. We have a diversified asset pool, which is always makes things a lot easier. Where I've got 6 different mines. I think Mapiri is one of the richest, but if it's not Mapiri, it'll be a Glaciani or Seis de Agosto or Flor or Tora. So I'm not concerned about that. I think the risk is the timing. So the faster we can really stick the shovel in the ground, um, I asked the question of the GM the other day, and I'm heading down there. I said, "Tell me when we're going to be mining gold. Will we be mining gold in August?" With no hesitation, yes. This is a guy that's been in the gold business for 15, 20 years,
Yeah.
and who's tied to profitability and taking that gold out because he gets 10% of the output. So he's incentivized. But yeah, I think that's the risk, quite frankly.
And
Now,
I think it's
I don't
important
know what's going to happen 5 years from now,
yeah.
but I'm pretty comfortable with where we are today.
And you've had a fair amount of people already vote with their checkbook. So that,
Yeah.
of the 8,000, there's a fair amount that has been acquired, right?
Yeah. We have, I had some people come in the other day. We probably have 500 ounces to 1,000 ounces left out of the 8,000.
Yeah.
It's not a lot, but for every ounce, for every 100 ounces, it's a $25,000 down payment. That's how you kind of have to think about it. And then on the back end, you make that deferred payment, or you come to the conclusion, no, I don't want to make that deferred payment. Can you work with us on selling it, or can I sell my tokens? One or the other. But yeah, that's the structure. So I've been really selling it for about the last 3 months, I think. And we've had some tweaks. I started at 49, 50,000 ounces and just came to the conclusion, as I said before, it's just too much to prove it out. Let's, instead of trying to do all things or do all the mines at once, let's cut it back, do one mine, prove it out. And I 1405 sounds like a random number, but again, I started this when gold was or I started the whole structure when gold was below 3,000. So, when it hit kind of 5,000, people were like, what the heck? Is this real?
Yeah.
But even at, 4,200, it's a pretty phenomenal. Even my friends are like, seriously?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's the real thing.
So
Um,
we have a question about where the tokens are held in your wallet, their wallet. Obviously, they're not
you,
on exchanges at this point, right?
Yeah, if you have a wallet, we can deliver them to your wallet. We have our own wallet that we deliver to those who don't have wallets. Um, yeah, it's delivered to your wallet like Bitcoin
Yeah.
or Ethereum or Solana or whatever other crypto you can have it. It's right next to your crypto or right next to your Bitcoin, and we have created the whole trading platform, which of course we haven't launched yet because I got to finish out the sale and the process. But at some point, you will be able to go when we complete the sale and finalize and tweak. You will be able to go to our platform. It'll be a closed platform where you have to be a member, but you can sell your or offer your token for sale on the platform. And we're structuring it where you can also trade Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever token or crypto that we decide we want on our exchange. And I'm using and working with a third party group who's developed these before, called Shift. So it'll be a pretty sophisticated exchange, very similar to like going to a Coinbase or, any one of the other number of other exchanges out there. But it'll be a closed um, system. And my ultimate goal is to expand this. We will do other gold offerings, but I think commodities in general are one area that haven't really been brought up to speed in terms of technology. I mean, if you look at the LME, you almost need a degree from MIT to execute on that thing. Well, you don't want that. You want to make it simple for people and you want to make it simple for individuals because, quite frankly, I know a lot of individuals that are buying gold. And those individuals have also participated in buying gold from me, buying gold tokens. And now some of them want the gold, physical gold delivery. Others will be comfortable with the token. And the beauty is that token doesn't go away. Um, if something happens to us or to me or to whatever, you still have that gold token, and you can, do. We will ultimately, hopefully, get that listed or traded on other exchanges as well. But that's our kind of bigger picture goal. But in the short term, it's going to be on our system, and hopefully, you won't have to go to another platform because I do think you go to some of these other trading platforms, and it's a convoluted mess of these meme coins and every other offering that
Not to
people have.
mention the friction, right?
Yeah, yeah. But it's like, how do you decipher all the garbage that's out there? And we want to clearly stay away from that. But I do think there's a huge opportunity in just the whole mechanics of a commodity centric uh, token platform where people, when they go to the site, they know it's real. It's real world asset tokenization. That's really what it is. But the key is getting that physical gold in your pocket if you want it, or in your local bank.
So the decision matrix at like you've done the mining, you delivered the gold, you have to make the next payment or not. You can decide to have the gold delivered by making the next payment, or you can just sell it at spot. What or hold the token. So what kind of things do you have to think? I know it's early, but think about in making that decision.
Well, yeah, I mean, when the gold is ready, you'll get a phone call. We're going to hold people's hands through this and say, hey, do you want your gold delivered and to where? Here's the down payment that you need to, or the deferred payment that you need to make. Or two, do you want us to help you sell the gold in the secondary market? Now, clearly, it will be at a slight discount to the market, just from a third party perspective,
Yeah.
and then deliver that cash to you. Um, so the mechanics, and that's another beauty of just 8,000 ounces. The mechanics of this will be very simple and very straightforward. This is about um, communication. The people that I have in this so far are really friends and family. We haven't gone wide. This is the widest I've gone on this, to kind of test out the market. But I've got friends from high school in this, and I want to go back to my hometown. I want to make sure that
Yeah,
I can get
right.
the gold and not have issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, the process should be pretty straightforward. Um, and my phone is 24/7. I'm on this. This is my 99% focus right now. I have to make sure that this goes through smoothly, just because of the people that I have involved. And two, I think there's a pretty massive opportunity here. Um, and it's been a long time in the making. It's not something that I just started, a
Yeah, we've
couple
been
months
talking
ago.
about it for at least a year and a half.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
no
want to
question.
shout out to Brian also because that's how we met. So thank you, Brian. Yeah. All right. So before we wrap it up, let's cover a couple more things that you want to talk about here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just kind of go through the um, slide presentation very quickly. You can see the map. The Tipawani-Mapiri Basin is probably the richest in Bolivia for gold. We are right in the sweet spot. Um, and as they say, better lucky than smart. But we got very fortunate with this project, with this mine, right in Mapiri, which is 1,544 acres. Um, but we are and have been shipping gold or equipment to the site. Hasn't been without its issues. There's no question. We've had delays getting equipment to the site because people not showing up, and the flatbed truck not being big enough. Um, just basic stuff like
It's
that.
third world country challenges. Let's just
Yeah,
call it what it is, right? Yeah.
yeah. It's like did when we set a Cabelco 830 excavator, it wasn't like a small backhoe.
Yeah.
Um, but you're just general and basic challenges. But we're at the stage right now where I was supposed to be down there this week, but just from kind of like additional delays, it's delayed my trip for another week because I want to be down there when we stick the shovel in the ground. The other thing that we haven't talked about, and I want to, I think transparency is key. Is security. You have to have security on site, and we have that. We even, as part of our process, we went the extra mile with our wash plant. You saw the one of the wash plants, the Gold Dog Trommel. There's another wash plant that it's called a grizzly feeder that you dump the initial stuff into, and the panels are like 30 feet long, and sometimes gold gets stuck in there. And what I've been told is that you need security. The best thing to do is to have lock up the panels. So that is one thing that took us because we had the what's called the chute manufactured, and had to make these additional changes. Like, okay, we need padlock on the panels. Just stuff like that has come up.
Yeah.
But
You're always going to get the cheaters, right?
yeah,
There's no
yeah,
question about it.
yeah. Um, you can just kind of taking you through this quickly. We've got the front end loaders, the dump trucks, the excavators, the generators, the wash plant. Um, I walked you through kind of the process. The beauty of it is Brinks will be picking up gold right from the um, the uh, the mine. And what's interesting is my GM told me the other day. He goes, as part of the budget, we need shotguns and pistols. I'm
Right.
like, what? I'm like, what? He
Yeah.
goes, no, that's for the wild animals that you see in the mine. I'm like, oh God, thank God.
Yeah. That's funny,
Uh,
Phil.
yeah, they said, jaguars and boa uh, pythons.
Pythons. Yeah,
I'm like, okay, well, I am not sleeping at the mine. I will be
exactly.
doing that hour trip
And
every
once
day.
Brinks picks it up, it's insured from,
Oh yeah, oh
not
yeah,
from graft, but from, physical whatever, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Right from the second they pick it up.
Yeah.
So, and they said, listen, we can pick it up how many times you want us to pick it up.
Yeah.
So it's all a function of price, but we're not planning on keeping gold or a lot of gold on site. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of third party analysis, which kind of validated the gold, where this French company came in and did an extensive geological report on the Tipuani Basin, where they were like concluded that there were dozens of grams per meter, per square meter, which is, and it's not surprising considering the sampling that we've done. So we're looking at anywhere from 5 to 10 grams a ton. If you compare that to the United States, it's multiples much more. I mean, you're looking at, in some cases in the US, zero point 0.5 to zero point 0.7 grams a ton. But that's the cost, that's the processing cost. Um, these are just basic charts, and we can send that to anybody if they want. But we've done a lot of work around this.
Sounds
Um,
sounds to me, Phil, that one of the most amazing things that happened to you was meeting this guy that was raising money that's got your GM, right? Like,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. I'd be less than honest if I told you I could have done it without him. I couldn't have. You need the guy on the ground, speaks fluent English, and he's been in the gold business. So he's down there working his tail off, but he knows, he's looking at something pretty attractive. Now he's not the type of guy to be able to raise money, so the relationship has been serendipitous. But you're 100% right. It's
He can talk to the co-ops, he can talk to the government, he
oh
can
God,
talk to
yeah, yeah,
everything, right? Yeah.
yeah. He's the one who brought the co-ops.
Yeah.
He brought me into the little villages, meeting the president of the co-ops, and it's um, it's not like going to meetings at Nine West. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's sometimes in life things like this happen, and I've been fortunate that we're in this position now. And again, I can't tell you what 5 years from now is going to be like, but I know what the next 6 months is going to be like, um, to 12 months, and I think we're in pretty darn good shape. Um, yeah, I mean, again, we have all the information on this. including our analysis, including I don't have any pictures of the radar that and the satellite that we used, or the satellite imaging, which is quite interesting. Shows you the amount of gold in the mines. I unfortunately didn't have that up, but yeah,
It
it's real. It's the opportunities there, and the pricing is super attractive.
is super
And
attractive.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's I would say if it's okay with you, Phil, to the group that, if you're thinking about it, send an email to Phil and have a conversation and see if it makes sense. You're
yeah,
happy with somebody buying one or two or three of those things, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, well, the our kind of philosophy and thesis was really opening it up for the retail marketplace.
Yeah.
How else would you buy, gold bullion? It's not that easy.
No, it's not.
Um,
Yeah.
and you're going through third parties, and you never know. Then you got to get it tested, and ours is going to be stamped LBMA approved or LBMA standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gone the extra mile on this thing,
Yeah.
um, to make sure all the T's were crossed and the I's were dotted.
Yeah. Sure looks like it. Really appreciate you doing this, Phil, and thanks for
Sure.
everybody for being here. Um, and we'll make sure you'll send the deck to me, Phil, and we'll
Yep.
send it out to everybody, and then we'll uh, put you in contact to everybody that was on the call. And super appreciate you doing this, Phil. And again, thank you to Brian for hooking
Yes.
us up for sure.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for having me, and thanks for everyone joining.
Yep.
Appreciate your taking the time.
You bet. Thank
All
you.
right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye bye,
All right.
everybody.
Bye.